Good afternoon, Commissioners. We are live and recording.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025 Board of County Commissioners Land Use Meeting and Public Hearing. Please rise as we recite the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Attorney Garcia, do we have certification of the agenda today?
You do, sir. The County Attorney's Office has reviewed all items on the agenda. You have appropriate jurisdiction over these matters, and where necessary, appropriate notice has been given.
Great, thank you. And do any commissioners have disclosures for items on this agenda?
No, sir.
No.
And I have none either. With that, we're going to move to item 2, our land use meeting agenda items. Our first item is item 2A, resolutions concerning the creation and organization and election question for the Douglas County Local Improvement District, LID, Country Club Drive, Group 10, LID, Douglas County Project Number CI 2025-015. I see Dan Roberts presenting for staff. Hey, Dan.
This small local improvement district, Country Club Drive. This is a very small LID consisting of 4 lots at the northwest end of the paved portion of Country Club Drive. Oriented in the map for you, this is Perry Park. The large purple area is the Spring Canyon LID, which is currently in design. And this is near that LID, but separated by a small gap. This LID consists of only 4 lots. It's in Perry Park Filing 4, which was platted in 1970. At that time, the developer was not required to construct roads or utilities. It's zoned suburban residential, which requires a central water and sanitary facility and paved streets be a part of those lots or serve those lots before they can be built on. Following the LID procedure guide and process, the application for this LID was submitted in January of this year. A scoping meeting was held in May. This LID had the utility study or the feasibility study for service that was previously completed. Neighborhood meeting was held in March. Petitions were sent out in April, and petitions were received May 27th. A total of 3 petitions were received from the 4 owners, which meets the requirements that over 70% of the property owners approve this before advancing it. The board passed the preliminary order resolution on June 24th. Legal notice was provided July 17th, and notice to property owners was sent out on July 3rd. So we have followed the procedure for approval of this. Next step is this public hearing, which will approve the creation of the LID and also approve a resolution to place it on the November ballot, where the property owners that are eligible to vote in Douglas County, a majority of those property owners is required to approve any issuance of debt by the LID. So following this public hearing, we do need to have a over 51% yes vote on the ballot. Otherwise, the LID process ends for this LID. The next step after that is we would go out to RFP for financing, obtain financing. If we are able to obtain financing conditionally, then the LID process continues. The step after that, this LID has already been designed by some previous owners. We would put that out to bid, and as long as the lowest bid is lower than the approved debt limit, then the LID processes continue and construction begins. Otherwise, the LID process ends. So with that, I'll open up to any questions you may have.
Great, thanks, Dan. Any questions for staff?
Kevin, do you got any questions?
I don't, well, I guess I'm curious. So it said 3 of the 4 said submitted paperwork saying they wanted it. Did the 4th person just not fill out their paperwork, or?
We did not receive vote from the fourth person. We did reach out to that person. Because it's such a small LID, we didn't want to make an investment in putting this on the ballot and then have it fail. We did receive verbal confirmation that they were supportive. We just did not receive their petition in time to count it.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that further information.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Teal?
So Dan, if, just going through the process really quick, we've done a few of these, but we've not, I don't think we've ever seen one quite this small in terms of number of property owners. When are we going to know the approved debt limit that's being suggested here? That would be approved.
So the debt limit is on the resolution. I think it's 686,000, just quoting it. It's very short. We did identify this working with the engineering firm that represents Perry Park Water and Sand to make sure that it created a complete LID and couldn't be joined with another. So it's a logical LID. It just happens to be a very small LID.
Okay. Okay, I think those are my questions.
Great. And we've seen this coming for a while. I don't have any additional questions. I'm going to open it up for any citizen comment. Is there any citizen comment with regard to this item? Okay, seeing none in the room, I'm going to open it up for any citizen comment online. Any citizen comment online?
Thank you, Commissioner. I have no online comments.
Thank you, Christy. So with that, I'll close citizen comment and bring it back to the board for any further discussion and/or a motion.
Chair, I'm sure it'll come as no surprise. Just because I've been in support of the LID process for years, I think the question is always, what do the neighbors who are going to participate in the LID need from the county in terms of leveraging? And I think you and I have both observed some very, very expensive ones that actually, in a couple, we've had to say no to just because it was just too much public investment required up front. We know LIDs are recovered over time as a part of the property taxing by the county to those individual landowners. So as long as the upfront assistance is nominal, it's certainly something that, quite frankly, I still support. I still say, thank God there's somewhere here on the Front Range of Colorado where neighbors can get together and with an unimproved property and work together to, as we've heard before, build their dream homes in gorgeous parts of the county. So if it pleases the board, I do have a motion to approve a resolution concerning the creation and organization and election question for the Douglas County Local Improvement District, LID, Country Club Drive, Group 10, LID, Douglas County Project Number CI 2025-015.
Thank you for the motion. I second the motion. Won't belabor the point. 4 neighbors have gotten together, asked us to put an election on the books on their behalf, and I'm inclined to say yes.
Okay. Well, thank you both for that. We have a first and second on the floor. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Dan. Now we're going to move on to item 2B, which is a waiver of central services requirement in the commercial zone district, zoning resolution waiver request, project file SP 2024-081. Eric Pavlinek, principal planner, presenting for staff. Eric?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Eric Pavlinek, representing Planning Services. The project before you is a request for a waiver from the zoning resolution, project file SP 2024-081. This item was considered by the board in May and tabled at that time. The applicants are requesting further consideration of the request. Brandon and Heidi Messer are the applicants, and Carolyn Young Henry is the applicant's water attorney. The request is a waiver to section 1206 of the Douglas County zoning resolution, which requires that all uses in the commercial zone district shall be served by a central water and sanitation facility. As indicated by the red star, the parcel is located west of the intersection of State Highways 83 and 86 in Franktown. Property is zoned commercial. Here's an aerial view of the subject parcel showing existing conditions. The waiver request is set forth in section 122 of the zoning resolution. At its May 13th, 2025 public meeting, the Board of County Commissioners voted to table the request based on concerns regarding drainage, water quality, and other components of the project, along with the possibility of improper communications from the applicant. The following is the SIP exhibit, which shows their proposal, which is a drive-through coffee shop. This slide shows the estimated water demand for the coffee shop. This demand will be served by the existing well, which is permitted to draw up to 1 acre-feet annually, and there's a septic system on the property, and the applicant is working with the health department. Pursuant to section 122, the waiver must demonstrate compliance with the following provisions in order for the board to approve the request. Should the board find that the waiver standards are met, staff proposes the following conditions be included in the board's motion. Condition number 1, all other standards, requirements, and permits associated with the proposed SIP application shall be met prior to final approval. Condition number 2, any proposed changes to the site that increase water demands shall require a subsequent waiver from the central water and sanitation requirements. And condition number 3, all commitments and promises made by the applicant or the applicant's representative during the meeting and or agreed to in writing and included in the public record have been replied upon the Board of County Commissioners in approving the application. Therefore, such approval is conditioned upon the applicant's full satisfaction of all such commitments and promises. Section 122 of the zoning resolution sets forth the parameters of the board's decision, which is noted on the slide. This concludes my presentation. The applicants do have a presentation for you this afternoon.
Okay, thank you, Eric. Any questions for staff?
I do. Eric, I wonder if you could take us back to the kind of that aerial view of the site? This is actually a little bit different of a aerial view than we had seen before. I seem to recall, wasn't there kind of a front yard of sorts there in prior presentations?
The aerial photo or the aerial map in the staff report is not the most current, so I tried to provide a current image of the property showing existing conditions.
So that looks like blacktopping on the property now. I mean, that looks like asphalt.
Yes, correct. The pavement has been overlaid on the property, which you can see in the photo.
I know that this is in the Cherry Creek Water Quality Authority area. So, and I don't know if you remember your time on Cherry Creek, Abe, but you know we were always dealing with converting surfaces from permeable to impermeable. Mm-hmm. And I know there's a permit process required there. Has the applicant, did they get a permit to go ahead and lay that blacktop parking lot?
Eric Paving for staff. I am not aware if the applicant obtained any permits prior to putting in the pavement. They are working through the SIP process now with engineering. I don't know if the applicant could speak on if they obtained any permits prior to installing the pavement.
Okay. I notice, I just want to, I mean, it looks like, is this actually a correct layout? What is the green line? Let me just ask that. What is the green line?
The green lines are the approximate boundaries of the parcel. see. Yeah, so the green lines are the parcel boundary. So this is the lot, State Highway 86, Kelty Road, and obviously the paving. But the proposal is the site plan exhibit here, which you can see the access from Kelty Road coming into the site. The drive-through would then exit east onto the adjacent property and then along 86 there. But the proposal does kind of in line with the existing conditions.
Okay, so that's Highway 86, that's Franktown Road.
Yes.
And the entry and exit on these two properties, that's already been approved by CDOT without any improvements required to Highway 86?
Eric Pavlik again for staff. I believe engineering is still waiting on the easement agreement with the neighbor. That has not been presented at this time. Once that is presented, our engineering division will work with CDOT on obtaining any access permits. There is some offsite improvements that are proposed. I don't know if they're shown in this exhibit here, but there is a kind of pork chop median that will be proposed on that adjacent property. And then, once again, they would have to get access permits through CDOT, and then those would be issued by the county.
Okay, wait a minute. I'm so sorry. I thought you just said that we don't have like an access agreement, an easement agreement from the adjacent property? Is that what you said?
Sure you can. Yes, that is correct. That has not been provided at this time.
But that property owner poured blacktop right there. What do you mean they didn't? They haven't given access. They must have poured that concrete right there, right?
So this is Jeanette Bear with staff. So the applicant may have done some things without the permit. The resolution of that issue is to go through the site improvement plan process to correct that. So that's what the applicant is doing, is he's working through the site improvement plan process, and he'll have to be able to obtain all these permits and approvals retroactively, make some different kinds of improvements on site, like he's got a plan for a detention water quality pond. He does have to get the easement from the neighbor. He will have to get the CDOT access permit. So all of that is kind of pending. He'll have to finish that up before we can approve the site plan, and he can actually occupy and use it as a business.
Okay.
So part of this is a correction SIP. When people kind of get out of order with things and they're found to be not in compliance with the zoning resolution, the first step is to offer them a path for correction. So that's what he's trying to do now, is go through the site improvement plan process and meet all the standards and approvals through that process.
Okay. Okay, well, obviously, we'll just put all that information, thank you, Jeanette, thank you, Eric, to the side. Eric, earlier you said, talking about the septic system, they're working with Department of Health. Do we have any feedback from the Department of Health? Has the septic system been certified? Is it good to go? I mean, this is going to be a Tut coffee shop. They're, edibles are going to be, sold from this location.
Eric Pavlik for staff. I believe they're still working through the plan review side of things for with the health department, and I don't know if they have certified the existing septic. The applicants can provide some feedback regarding that review.
All right, okay. I think those are my questions for staff.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Teal. Any additional questions for staff?
Could you just go back, I think, one slide to the aerial view?
Sure.
So 86. Okay, could you hold for just one moment?
Sure.
What is north in this? Is Is it
Straight up.
Yeah, north is
straight
straight up here.
Okay, just as it is,
So
okay.
83 is just to the right.
83 is to the, okay. I'm trying. And there's a turn in from, on both Kelty Road and 86, right? Or is there not a, it's kind of fuzzy there.
Yeah, primary access to the site is from Kelty Road here, and then you would exit. So if you go into the drive-through here, you would eventually exit onto the adjacent property and then onto 86 here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, great. I don't have any additional questions of the of staff. If the applicant would like to make a presentation, you're welcome to come up. If you want to just state your name and where you're from, thanks.
Pointer, okay. So down this, down. Oh, perfect. Awesome, thank you. All right. Okay, good afternoon, commissioners. For the record, my name is Caroline Young-Henry. I'm with Shaner and Franklin, and I am here on behalf of Brandon and Heidi Messer regarding the request for a water and sewer waiver for their property at 2006 Kelty Road. At your May 13th meeting, this request was tabled for further review of the water quality, drainage, and related issues. Today, I will be addressing the water and sewer components as well as the Messer's vision for the property. And Troy Denning will be available to provide updates on the drainage, stormwater, and SIP elements. And so I'd first like to present the Messer's vision for you. Brandon and Heidi are not just applicants seeking approval. They are longtime residents, deeply committed members of the Douglas County community. Brandon was born and raised in Douglas County. It's the only place he's ever called home. Heidi moved here at the age of 10 as part of a military family, and Douglas County quickly became her home as well. Together, they have chosen to raise their family here, putting down deep roots in the place that has shaped them. For nearly 2 decades, Brandon and Heidi have owned and operated businesses within Douglas County. One of their businesses has proudly served the community for 19 years. These businesses represent far more than a livelihood. They are a way to actively support, engage, and strengthen the community. Throughout their work, they've created jobs, supported families, and fostered a spirit of connection in the areas that they serve. Their commitment to Douglas County extends well beyond business. Every December, they organize a toy drive for benefiting local children. They regularly offer free coffee to first responders and military service members as an ongoing gesture of gratitude for their service. These aren't isolated acts. They're part of a long-standing pattern of consistent, heartfelt community support. For Brandon and Heidi, giving back is not an afterthought. It's a core value. Over the years, they sponsored community events, contributed to local causes, and stepped up to support those in need. Their guiding principle has always been to give more than they take and to leave a lasting positive impact on the county they love. The spirit of service is what inspired their next vision, opening a coffee shop in Franktown. Franktown is a uniquely special place. It's a true crossroads, not just in geography, but in community. They see it as an ideal gathering space where neighbors can come together, connect, and feel a sense of belonging. The goal is not to simply serve coffee, but to create a welcoming local hub, a space where small groups can meet, where individuals can slow down and feel at home, and experience a sense of connection that makes small communities in Douglas County thrive. Brandon and Heidi are not newcomers. They are proud Douglas County residents, parents, business owners, and active contributors to life in this community. Their request today is not just about a water and sewer waiver. It's about supporting a vision grounded in service, community, and sincere dedication to the place they call home. They appreciate your time and your consideration and the opportunity to continue investing in a county that has given so much to them and their family. And so now I will begin the PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so we've been working extensively with the planning department, the health department, and other agency constituents, and making sure that the necessary water and sewer services on site are in conformity and in compliance with the codes and wishes of the county. And so here is a map of the Franktown Village area that was also present in Eric's presentation from May and also from today. In this slide, you can see 2006 Kelty Road is located in the C Commercial Zone District and would need a waiver of central services requirement. Okay, so the attached photographs from the first time that they bought the property clearly demonstrate a more deteriorated and neglected condition of the property at the time that it was purchased from the previous owners. The roads were uneven and washed out. There was dead trees and shrubbery everywhere, unkept sidewalks, damage from the years of use, and lack of maintenance on the property. And so the Messers began the process of cleaning up the property and a lot of the dead trees and shrubbery. And then these images serve as visual evidence of the already substantial improvements and rehabilitation efforts my client is and will be required to undertake to bring the property into compliance and in suitable condition for its intended use. You'll notice that the original drive aisles for the traffic are still present and preserved from previous photos. Additionally, the Messers, who are well-established members of the community, were approached by several elderly residents that expressed a desire for a coffee shop that would be easily accessible without the need to cross through gravel. And so it is their desire to continue to fulfill the wishes of the members of the community that are excited to have a coffee shop that's both open and accessible. This is the back portion of the property that has been thoroughly cleaned and cleared of trash and debris and dead trees. This effort has been undertaken to create a healthier environment for the existing trees and the natural vegetation, which will thrive without having obstruction since the Messers have purchased the property. My client's vision has always been rooted in creating a welcoming, community-oriented space where the patrons can also enjoy the outdoors. The goal is to offer an inviting setting where customers can sit outside, sip coffee, and spend meaningful time with their friends surrounded by the natural beauty of Franktown's rural landscape. And so this vision aligns with both the character of the area and the broader values of Douglas County. And so the Messers are converting the existing structure into the small coffee shop. This is a use that aligns with the property's commercial zoning and is consistent with the character of surrounding businesses in Franktown business area. This project is also located within an important employment corridor and would offer meaningful opportunities for local job creation and community engagement. And so currently, neither centralized water nor sewer infrastructure is available within a feasible distance to the property. The Franktown Business Area Metropolitan District has formally confirmed in this letter that it is not feasible to provide these services to the site. And the nearest centralized sewer connection, which I believe is located in Castle Rock, is over 2 miles away. You can see that in this slide. The location of the 2006 Kelty Road is indicated here. Oh boy, right about there, and is clearly far away from any water providers and their service areas. Okay, as such, the Messers are seeking a waiver to allow the use of the existing exempt well and the septic system on the property. And this is consistent with numerous other nearby commercial properties that have received similar waivers. The property currently has an active valid well permit, permit number 336476, that was issued by the Colorado Division of Water Resources, which explicitly authorizes commercial use of the well. The Division of Water Resources has reviewed the waiver request and has no objection to it, confirming that the permitted well may lawfully serve the proposed coffee shop, provided usage remains within the parameters of the permit. Additionally, the property contains an existing septic system that has been inspected, repaired, and is being brought into compliance with all of Douglas County's health department standards. The DCHD received the repair documentation on March, and on April 10th, they had a response and stated no objection to the continued use of the OWTS as a method of wastewater disposal for the commercial use. The health department further confirmed that no new use permit inspection is required, only that a certified septic designer evaluate the system for the proposed use, and the owners are in the process of completing that at this time. And so this letter was my client's original request sent to Douglas County on February 28th, 2025, and sets out to address each of the standards set for granting a waiver for the county's zoning resolution. I wanted to draw your attention to the Franktown sub-area policy, which states Franktown's primary wastewater management tools include septic tanks and leach fields. Properly managed, these systems can adequately support limited rural development as proposed in this plan and protect groundwater in the Franktown rural community. And so without central systems available, this waiver request will allow the project to accommodate a low water use business with one well and an OWTS system. And so upon the request of the commission, my client provided a supplemental memorandum that further addressed the waivers of the Douglas County zoning resolution. All relevant reviewing agencies, the DWR, the DCHD, and the Douglas County Water Commission, stated no objection to the waiver. There is no evidence that the waiver would be detrimental to public health, safety, and welfare, or injurious to other properties, and this request aligns with previous waivers approved by the Commission for Franktown. Furthermore, again, the Franktown sub-area plan acknowledges that properly managed septic and well systems are appropriate and sustainable tools for limited rural development in this community. And so this request aligns with that policy framework. The Messers also hold a decreed underground water rights for the property, which further strengthens their ability to responsibly and sustainably manage water resources. So lastly, it's important to emphasize that the Messers' dedication to preserving the historical character of the building. Rather than tearing it down or significantly altering the existing structure, they have worked to maintain the building's original bones and integrate it meaningfully into the community. This reflects their long-term commitment to the area and thoughtful approach to development. This snapshot is from the DWR well permit GIS database and evidences the abundance of current wells located in the Franktown commercial area. And you can see that our property is located right at the juncture of 83 and 86. Provided here for context is another business that's located just up the street in Franktown that utilizes well water to support its commercial restaurant operations. This is also a comparable case involving a nearby business that underwent a similar process back in 2024. The hearing for that matter was held on April 23rd, 2024, during which some members of the presiding commission board granted the waiver. In their decision, the commission members noted their familiarity with Franktown and acknowledged its distinctively rural character, evidencing clear precedence in favor of approval for this waiver. This is a continuation of the application introduced on the previous slide. And so in summary, the existing infrastructure is not only adequate and functional for the water and sewer waiver, but is fully compliant and working towards compliance with all county and state standards. Granting this waiver will enable a small locally owned business in a rural community to proceed in a responsible and sustainable manner, create local jobs, preserve local character, and activate a local commercial space without placing undue burden on infrastructure that does not currently exist. For all these reasons, we respectfully request that the commission approve the waiver request so that this project may promptly continue moving forward. We thank you for your time.
Great, thank you, council. Any questions for the applicant?
Yeah.
We have also Troy Denning is here to answer any questions regarding the SIP project itself.
Okay, and then council, did you have anyone additional from the applicant that wanted to present?
Did you have any? Yep. Yes.
Okay, sure.
Hi, my name is Troy Denning. I'm the president of Action Civil Engineering, in 9777 Pyramid Court, Inglewood. I've been a licensed engineer working in Douglas County for the past 30 years. And I think some of the commissioners had questions about paving the site without detention. And you wouldn't have to have the site plan handy, would you? So as you know, originally the site was had gravel driveways coming in off of Highway 86 to the east side, wrap around through, and there was gravel out in front of the house, the west side also. Since then, it's been paved, and after it was paved, we started the site plan review process, and I've been working with Al Peterson and with Chris Martin with the access off of Highway 86 and off of Kelty Road, and improvements to handle water quality. So the areas on the left side, the west side over there, where it looks like a lot of landscaping. On the north side of the entry is a water quality pond that we worked with Al Peterson on for that. And we have comments back from Cherry Creek Basin Water Authority. They had no issues with it, and they deferred to Douglas County staff as for the design and the treatment quality of that. So it's a standard bioretention pond. And then also to direct water to that pond, we're removing some pavement, installing curb and gutter along the west side. So any water flowing from the pavement west will be intercepted by the curb and gutter and directed to the detention pond just north of that entry. And then as far as entry on the right, we've been working with Chris Martin directly. Chris has actually provided some designs. That's actually Chris's design right there. That I engineered for him, and we've modified a little bit since then. And the only outstanding issue that we're working on is the width of the one-way drive going out, changing it from 15 feet to 14 feet. Other than that, it should all be good with CDOT and our neighbor to the east. And that's all I've got. If you have any questions.
Great. Anybody else from the applicant's team? Okay.
Hi, I'm Mark D. Benedictus. I work with the Messers on land development. My background's through Crystal Valley Ranch. I located at 6020 South Greenwood Plaza Boulevard, Greenwood Village, Colorado. I wanted to address the actual permits for the project itself. We have submitted back in July of 24, permit number 2418112, and we are going through the review process with the building division as well. We have obtained approvals from the fire department, and we've gone through mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, along with commercial design for floor plans. So we've been going through that process for about a year now. We have two other things to check off on the general comments list for the permit substantial review. And one of those would be provided by the Health Department final approval, which is underway. So Brandon and Heidi have been working due diligently on the permit process for over a year now. So I just wanted to let you know that. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Anybody else from the applicant team? Okay, great. So let me open it up for the board's questions. Any questions for the applicant?
Well, yes.
Commissioner Teal.
Come on back up here, sir. You were talking about when the permits were put in.
Yes, sir.
Tell me again, if you could, when the first permit was put in.
So back in July of '24, and even prior to that, Brandon had started the permit process with Douglas County.
Can you be more specific about the prior to that?
Well, prior to that, Commissioner, would be the period of June of '24. We had an on-site visit by the building official, and he had issued comments to the building, and they had bought this property previous year in February and were sold that the existing building had been through code reviews in the past, but they had found out that wasn't correct. So we had to go back through the process with official blueprints, architectural drawings by a licensed architect. That's taken some time as well, and getting that up to code and getting to the new code. In addition to that, they've pushed the development to do this SIP, so the site improvement plan, as part of that process. So the Messers were unaware of all this at time of purchase. So, you know, it's been kind of working a little bit backwards, you know, with the permit, but they did contact me to help them through that process. So I've been doing that pretty diligently for the last year with them.
Okay. I think that's my big question.
Okay, thanks, Commissioner Teal. Commissioner Ben Winkle.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And my question has to do with the paved roads. So I looked on, took me a bit to find it on Google Earth, but the Google Earth photo shows that dirt paved road that comes out of like the little shopping center strip mall, and it comes out onto 86 there. And then on the left side of it, there's some parked cars and a solid, what looks to be like a solid fence, and then there's no exit. Like the road area kind of stops about 3/4 of the way to the right there. I'm just looking at two very different pictures. Could we post the picture of it today? That. So to the right there, it's a dirt road that goes to a strip mall, and that's been there for a long time, but so when did it change, or how has it changed?
So in reference to that section there, that is part of the SIP that Action Engineering's been working on. The neighbor to the east has met with the applicant, and they've struck agreements with each other to take down a section of fence to have access for exit for the drive-through. And they are working through an easement agreement currently that's going to have the design for the pork chop that pushes the traffic out to the west through the drive-through.
West.
So they won't exit through, there won't be access through the actual shopping center itself. That was one of the agreements that the two of them had. And Brandon and Heidi have, reflected that in some of the preliminary easement documents that they'll be delivering to them.
Okay. And then on the picture shown there, it actually has a yellow line in the middle of the road where I want to kind of look and see. Is there a double, can cars turn left into there from when they're traveling east? Or can they turn out of there? Because there's a big intersection right next door to it, right?
Yes. So the flow of traffic's coming, you'll have a flow of traffic that can turn left at Kelty to access
Okay.
to the drive-through.
The east side, okay.
That's your main entrance to the coffee shop.
Is Kelty, that intersection. And it doesn't look like there's an intersection there on the right, but that seems to,
I think
So would they
the aerial
exit?
kind of cuts it off a little bit.
yeah. So they would enter on Kelty Road,
So they'll, enter off of Kelty,
drive through.
and they can exit off of Kelty too if they're not going through the drive lane for the drive-through, because that's one-way traffic only. And then they would only be able to exit back out onto 86 heading west.
Okay. Well, I'd certainly appreciate getting the pictures of the site improvements and things like that. I just
Okay.
was a bit confused because when you look at the Google Earth pictures, it's a very different kind of lot setup, everything. That whole right side is kind of trees and basically trees and grass. And
There was trees and fencing, yes.
did a building come down, or are all the original buildings still there?
All the existing structures are there.
Okay. Because before it looked like it was a solid fence line with no road. Okay.
So right where that box truck is,
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of where the fence lied at the top.
Okay. When was this all constructed?
So that took place in July of '24 as well.
Okay, July last summer. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So I am dealing with an outdated Google Earth image and appreciate your clarifications.
Yes, sir. You're welcome.
Great. Just questions for staff. How many citizen comments did we get on this? Did we get any citizen comment?
Eric Pathman for staff. We didn't receive any comments from any adjacent neighbors or members of the public on this application.
Yeah, I kind of searched the packet, didn't see anything and nothing new.
Correct, yeah, nothing new as of today, no.
Okay, great. So with that, I don't have any additional questions of the applicant. I will open it up for any citizen comment. Is there any citizen comment in the room with regard to this item? Okay, not seeing any comment in the room. I'm going to go online and see if there's any citizen comment online. And while we do that, if staff can put up the legal approval criteria, please.
Thank you, Commissioner. I have no online comments.
Okay, thank you. So with that, I'll close citizen comment and bring it back to the board for any further discussion and or a motion.
So I'll get it going. Gentlemen, you heard my comments when we brought this under consideration before tabling. I got to tell you, my concerns are still there. We just heard the applicant's representative tell us that that was paved over before they even got in any permits. I mean, we've got a business owner here that kind of grips and rips it. Doesn't really go through our processes. And how many times are we giving waivers because someone has bought something and they are out of compliance? That's not quite the case here with the Messers. The Messers, I fully agree. And Mr. Messer started communicating with me back in January. And he himself felt like he got sold something that was really not up to the promise. He expressed that to me. I will give him that latitude and grace because that's usually one of our criteria, that somebody needs a waiver because they have placed themselves in a position through no fault of their own. They were lied to. I still got issues. I mean, and Kevin, you were asking questions pertaining to access to Highway 86. Guys, we all handle questions, ideas that come in from business owners in our districts. I mean, I've had a handful of business owners in this area who wanted to do something, and as soon as our staff informed them of the improvements that would have to be at off of 86, or even 83, which isn't even a quarter mile to the east of this location, suddenly it wouldn't pencil. Because you can't think we love Franktown, kind of because it's Franktown. And you can't introduce too much more use into that area without substantial improvements to infrastructure. Thinking about it, okay, we can probably say yes to this request because there still is an SIP process to go through. And so to give the applicant every benefit of the doubt, which I know we try to do, there is still the SIP process. I still see a lot of concerns. I still have concerns with Mr. Messer, and he's a grip it and rip it guy. I admire part of that because that same attitude benefited me well in my business life. Just get in there and get it done. The only problem is I just keep seeing everything he's tripping over, but I have to concede. For this one, if I'm going to be perfectly honest, we probably should approve this waiver because no other business can start up if they don't get some kind of waiver. So we probably can approve this one. I guess I still retain reservations about the applicant still moving through the process, particularly when it comes to the SIP. Now, I think I can make that expression of having a reservation based on what we've been shown up until now and my own experiences up until now. But we could probably give this waiver, give him the opportunity to move forward in the process. But I still have real concerns about being able to get to a full completion of the SIP without additional waivers, that there are businesses that have already been turned away when they came in from the very beginning to us with a business idea and took a look at it, and that business never went anywhere in this area. So I have reservations as we continue on the process. Mr. Messer, it bothered me very much that during the process you kept telling me you were hemorrhaging money. You were not going to survive the year as a business. You have a phenomenal team here that advocated very well for you today. I won't ask who's a volunteer. So, anyhow, colleagues, I leave it to you to take what I've said and fold that into your own thoughts. But we could probably give this waiver today.
Well, thank you for that, Commissioner. Commissioner Van Winkle.
Well, I do appreciate those remarks and those thoughts. I do have concerns of the public safety, specifically regarding the on and off there of Highway 86 and the changes that have kind of been done there and kind of the traffic flow in the future, how that can be done safely, so close to such a major intersection. But I do believe that could be issues for the future, not necessarily for today. I think just for me speaking as a citizen, it's impressive to me that the people of Franktown who, if you try to do hardly anything in Franktown, usually there's a wave of calls and comments and emails and citizens that are in a bit of an uproar that something's changing. and especially when it comes to traffic and noise and things like that. So I think it's impressive that there isn't that uproar today from the citizens of Franktown. Makes me think that maybe the folks of Franktown wouldn't mind having a coffee shop there. Might be kind of cool on the way in and out of town, or to their workplace in the morning, specifically to get a cup of coffee. And maybe even a quality breakfast burrito if you so choose as a business owner to pursue that. So I do share some of the concerns with the traffic, but also share the idea that we could approve this waiver today without tremendous amount of heartburn with the three amendments or the three conditions, and ensure that in the next steps, when it comes to traffic flow and things like that, that we are being extra careful to approve those steps in the process very thoughtfully and safely.
Well, and not only that, but like I said, I've had a handful of other business owners that wanted to do something really right here at this intersection of Kelty and 86. Maybe they all arrange to meet up and they figure out something that they can do together to share some of those overly burdensome costs that would really be needed to make the turn on to 86, both affordable but appropriate and not a hazard to public safety. But that's really not our job up here to do that kind of playing God. That's really on the applicant to pursue other opportunities, pursue other partnerships in the area in order to work together. Kind of like the 4 residents with that LID.
Well, thank you, Board. I think it's well appreciated, the level of thought and deliberation you've put into all applications, including this one. I hearken back to my time on the Planning Commission and certainly before that as a commercial real estate attorney. And, want to confine my analysis to the legal approval standards. I share your reservation, Commissioner Teal, that obviously in Douglas County we need to make sure that processes are being followed and equitably and fairly applied to all citizens and all applicants. I also have, some reservation about any designated rural community like Franktown, and we have 3 of those. And so, part of our commitment as a board is to make sure that we are honoring those designated rural communities and their history in the county. I think it's noteworthy, and I would echo the sentiments of my colleagues, that the absence of citizen comment in Franktown is certainly a signal to me that there may be some acquiescence to what's going on here, because we do hear from them if there are issues. Not that that's determinative, but it is certainly deeply significant to all of us. We care a lot about Franktown and their citizens. I think the other issue, too, is, this is reserved in many, a lot of the challenges we're facing here might be resolved in the SIP process. So I do think, Commissioner Teal, you articulated that well. Walking through the approval standards, I don't find anything objectionable here. I think it's also significant that the referral agencies didn't seem to have any significant challenges either. So if there is a motion in support, I would be in support of that particular action.
Mr. Chair, I appreciate those remarks. I look forward to the next steps in the process, specifically around the public safety of the transit, the in and out close to such an intersection.
Commissioner, I'm going to pause you, and let me just ask for the applicant, are you okay with the conditions as presented? And just if you want to state it on the record, please.
May I speak a couple of things?
Well, the question is whether or not you're okay with the conditions.
Absolutely.
And if you want to just state your name and where you're from.
My name is Brandon Messer.
Yep.
If I may speak after that, I don't know if I can, I don't know. But
well, as a point of privilege, yeah, please, this is your application. Go ahead.
Our goal with the Franktown property, we actually run a ranch just south of Franktown, and our goal for the Franktown, and I think what has been, we've gotten with a lot of our neighbors, and we've been out to support the local ranchers. The local ranchers are having such a hard time with beef sales, and so part of this coffee shop was the coffee was to help pay the mortgage. But the primary reason was to have a farm direct market, a place where people could come in and get, their local beef, eggs, summer sausage, jerky, anything we could do that could be helpful, maybe not produce because it's not a very big place, but it was to help the local ranchers, ourselves included. We have 8 children. I have 2 older daughters, and of those 8 children, my older daughters, I just was trying to find a good place for them to work. And so one of those places was trying to start a coffee shop and a good place for them to work. So we're looking for a safe environment. That was my goal and my wife's goal. And so when we were working on this, originally it was a merchandise mart and a little coffee shop or art studio. And we had just been looking for a place to be able to sell beef. Most people don't go buy a half a cow or a full cow anymore. Nobody has storage. Nobody has anything like that. So our intention was to make a place where people could come and pick up local goods without having to, and support the local ranchers. And so we do a lot of hay baling to support our cows. So we get with a lot of the ranchers out there, and that was the intention of that. We now have the name Coffee Cabin because we purchased the Coffee Cabin in Parker, and so now this would be our second location for Coffee Cabin, and that's our intention to keep the name moving there. We've been in, like I said, I've lived in Douglas County my entire life. I've lived there for, I hate to say it, almost 40 years, but yeah, I've lived here and just want to support everything that's around. I apologize if I came and did the wrong thing or if anything like that. If anything, we're just trying to keep things within reasonable budget and move forward. And so if we did not follow the right processes, we apologize. It's not exactly a clear picture on how to take a 1918 house and turn it into a coffee shop. So I apologize. That's, definitely if it could be heard. So if you guys don't have any other questions for me, that was our intention for the whole project. So.
Well, thank you for sharing that commentary. We're a little bit out of order, and that probably would have been best suited during the applicant presentation, but it's perfectly fine. And we often say that, we are here to support the private sector and businesses and want to try to get out of the way of businesses when we can, while balancing that against our zoning resolution. So thank you for that. And it sounds like you are accepting the 3 conditions as presented. Okay.
We'll do anything you ask us to do to get it up to speed or whatever is safe for the community, whatever we can do. We just ask that people try to keep it as reasonable as possible. So.
Yeah, and 8 kids, God bless you. I have 3. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, good for you. All right, I'm going to bring it back to the board for any further discussion or motion.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move to approve a waiver of the zoning resolution requirement for central services in the commercial zone district because it does meet all the approval criteria with 3 conditions as presented. This is project file SP 2024-081.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead and second.
Okay, so we have a first and second on the floor. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that passes unanimously. Congratulations. With that, we're going to move into item 3, which is our public hearing agenda items. The first item before us today is item 3A, the Piney Lake Trails Metropolitan District numbers 1 and 2, amended and restated service plan, project file SV 2025-001. DJ Beckwith, principal planner with staff.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. The project before you is an amended and restated service plan for Piney Lakes Trail Metropolitan Districts 1 and 2. Project number is SV 2025-001. Thanks.
It's all those pines that are around here, DJ.
We've got a couple of them today, so better get used to me today. That should look a little better. All right. I am DJ Beckwith, representing Planning Resources. The applicant representative is Megan Murphy. The application is a request for approval of an amended and restated service plan for Piney Lakes Trail Metropolitan Districts Number 1 and 2, for the purpose of including language to clarify how the district debt limit is calculated and to clarify how mill levies will be calculated and imposed per mill levy adjustment. The Board of County Commissioners created and adopted guidelines for processing and reviewing special district service plan applications in compliance with Title 32. Service plan applications are sent on referral, and staff works with the applicant to resolve identified issues. Applications are then reviewed by the Planning Commission and Board of County Commissioners at public hearings. Due to a lack of quorum, the scheduled Planning Commission meeting on July 21st of 2025 was canceled. The applicants have determined to move forward and have requested consideration by the board. The districts are located in the non-urban area, specifically the northeast sub-area as defined in the 2040 Comprehensive Master Plan. You can see on the top right, indicated by the star on this map. The districts are zoned planned development and outlined in red on the slide above. It is located east of North Piney Lake Road and south of County Line Road. The district service plan was approved in 2022. Tolls Southwest LLC purchased the property within the districts in January of 2025 and have determined that certain changes in the service plan are necessary to address how mill levies would be imposed and debt limit would be calculated for the districts. The districts are anticipated to have 176 residential lots and is expected to have a population of 528 residents at build-out. The amendment will not change the maximum total mill levy of 70 mills to support the debt service and operation and maintenance for the districts. The maximum debt service mill levy will remain at 50. The amendment increases the initial operation and maintenance mill levy from 50 to 70 mills and will drop to 20 mills once the debt service mill levy is imposed. The amendment does not propose a change to the total debt limit. The amendment does propose an increase in cost of public improvements from $22.1 million to $31 million, and also includes an increase to the anticipated developer advances from $22.1 to $31 million, of which $9 million will not be repaid by the districts. The amendment also removes county template language that would include developer advances as counting against the maximum allowable debt. The project was sent out on referral from May 15th to June 2nd. Most responses for referral had no comment on the proposed amended and restated service plan. Douglas County Planning staff requested technical revisions. Staff also requested clarification on the proposed change in debt limit from $22 million to $28 million in an amended service plan. The applicant stated that they had not intended to increase the debt limit and submitted a revised version of the amended service plan to keep the debt limit at $22 million, as stated in the original service plan. All staff comments have been addressed. The county also had financial consultants review the proposed and amended restated service plan. Hilltop Securities reviewed the amended and restated service plan with the revised financial plan reflecting the original debt limit approved in 2022 of $22 million. Hilltop concluded that it is reasonable that the district will be capable of extinguishing all bonds within the parameters established in the service plan. BBC Research and Consulting reviewed the market study and commented that if the assumptions in the market study are realized, the district's ability to generate sufficient property tax and fee revenues to support its proposed debt structure appears secure. This comment has been provided to the applicant. Staff's assessment of the proposed amendment as it relates to the criteria has been detailed in the staff report. The Colorado Revised Statute specified criteria for approval of special district service plans. The board must consider the following 9 criteria in evaluating the service plan. In response to number 1, the area encompassed by the district's boundaries are currently zoned planned development and services are currently being provided by the districts. Number 2, at the time of the original service plan was approved, services for the proposed development were inadequate. The property is currently served by the districts and no changes are proposed for the existing services. Number 3, based upon comments from the county's financial consultant, The service plan demonstrates that the districts can provide these services economically. Number 4, based on the comments from the county's financial consultant, the service plan demonstrates that the district's revenues, as projected in the financial plan, would be sufficient to discharge the proposed indebtedness. Number 5, the City of Aurora and South Metro Fire Rescue will continue to provide services to the districts. Other services and improvements as contemplated under the original service plan will continue to be provided by the districts. Number 6, all facilities will be constructed in accordance with the standards of the county and any other applicable local, state, or federal rules and regulations. Number 7, at the time of the original service plan was approved, the district was found to be in substantial compliance with the 2020 Comprehensive Master Plan. The proposed amended and restated service plan does not make any changes to land use. Goal 5-3 of the 2040 Comprehensive Master Plan promotes the sustainability of special districts, including ensuring that special districts are financially sound through the independent evaluation of all financial plans. The county works closely with third-party consultants to evaluate the financial feasibility of all new special districts and special district amendments. Number 8, based on information provided by the applicant, the districts are in compliance with Colorado's Water Quality Management Plan. Number 9, at the time of the original service plan was approved, the property required services from either an adjacent municipality, an adjoining special district, or a new district, and the new districts were formed. The districts will continue to provide services to the development. Should the board find that the application complies with the criteria found at Colorado Revised Statute Title 32, the board may approve. This concludes my presentation. The applicant representative, Megan Murphy, is also here to answer any additional questions.
Great. Thank you, DJ. Any questions for staff?
No questions.
Okay, I have none either. If the applicant wants to make the presentation, please.
Megan Murphy,
You can pull that down if you need to.
Oh, thanks. It says don't touch it right here. Okay.
Well, yeah, you have our permission.
From WBAPC 2154 East Commons Avenue, Suite 2000, Centennial 80122, on behalf of the applicant. We don't have a presentation this afternoon because your staff does such a great job. Here to answer questions, I also have a representative from Toll Southwest and a representative from Piper Sandler if you have financial plan questions.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant?
No questions.
The only question I have is associated with the criteria, and if you want to put up the criteria for us, DJ. Always goes back to that number 2, existing services inadequate for present and projected needs. In terms of the staff analysis, I mean, going from, it sounds like 22 to 28 million, that analysis has been done, and staff feels confident that the need is inadequate, correct?
Sure, this is Lauren Pulver with staff. And to clarify, there is no change to the debt limit. The debt
Okay.
limit is remaining at 22 million. It has been reviewed by our financial consultant for financial feasibility.
So it will stay at 22?
Correct.
Okay, fantastic. Any other questions? All right. Seeing none, I'm going to open it up for any citizen comment. Any citizen in the comment in the room with regard to this item? Okay, seeing none, any citizen comment online?
I do not have any public comment, Commissioner.
Okay, thank you. So with that, I'll close citizen comment and bring it back to the board for any further discussion or a motion.
I think I'm okay with this one. I mean, obviously, it has come before us in the past. We saw the need for the Metro District. I appreciate the commitment to actually lower the mill levy down to 20 mills once debt service is taken care of. I think, Abe, you and I have been subjected to many years, people having concerns with their Metro District debt, having lived and having served on the Castle Rock Town Council. I mean, we were always trying to wrestle with the Meadows Metropolitan District that is indeed going to be a 100-year debt for that Metro District, and always determined to make sure that didn't happen again. At the same token, I was able to preside over several Metro Districts where either the Metro District, once debt service was completed, was fully retired, and the metro district just went away, or it scaled back to very simple O&M in the area, which actually was a benefit to those of us that lived in the town but didn't live in that metro district, because otherwise that was going to be expenses that were going to be put on all of us in Castle Rock. So if it pleases the board, I do have a motion to approve the Piney Lake Trails Metropolitan District number 1 and 2, amended and restated service plan because it does meet all of the approval criteria. Project file is SV 2025-001.
Second.
Great. So we have a first and second on the floor. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
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 Aye, and that passes unanimously. With that, we're going to move on to the second item in our public hearing agenda items, and it's item 3B, Pinery Meadows Metropolitan Districts, number 1 and 2, new service plan, project file SV 2025-003. Once again, DJ Beckwith with staff.
All right, that should look familiar to you, Commissioners. The next project before you is a new service plan application for Pinery Meadows Metropolitan Districts number 1 and 2. The project number is SV 2025-003. Again, I am DJ Beckwith, representing Planning Resources. The applicant representative is Aaron Stotz. The application is a request for approval of a new service plan application for Pinery Meadows Metropolitan Districts number 1 and 2. The proposed districts would include the powers listed on the slide and detailed in the staff report. The Board of County Commissioners created and adopted guidelines for processing and reviewing special district service plan applications in compliance with Title 32. Service plan applications are sent out on referral, and staff works with the applicant to resolve identified issues. Applications are then reviewed by the Planning Commission and Board of County Commissioners at public hearings. Due to lack of quorum, the scheduled Planning Commission meeting on July 21st of 2025 was canceled. The applicants have determined to have the request considered by the board as planned to meet election filing deadlines. The districts are located to the west of South Parker Road and north of Scott Avenue and are within the Pinery separated urban area as identified in the CMP, marked on the star here in red. The districts are zoned planned development and are outlined in red on the slide above. The property in the proposed districts is zoned planned development. The property is anticipated to include 136 residential lots. The population of the district at build-out is expected to be 170 residents. The projected average home value is $758,000. District revenues are proposed to be primarily from property taxes and may also rely upon other revenue sources such as fees, rates, tolls, penalties, or charges. The estimated total mill levy cap is 70 mills. The proposed initial debt service mill levy is 60 mills, with initial operation maintenance mill levy of 70 mills, but will drop to 10 mills for operations and maintenance once the debt service mill levy is imposed. The total authorized debt limit is 11 million. Estimated cost of improvements is 8.7 million. The district anticipates receiving initial funding for both capital and ongoing administrative requirements from the developer advances. Anticipated and developer advances total 8.7 million, of which all is anticipated to be reimbursed by the districts. The project was sent out on referral from May 29th to June 13th. Most responses for referral had no comment on the proposed amendment. Douglas County Planning staff requested technical revisions to the service plan. These revisions included formatting and language changes. The applicant submitted a revised service plan to address those comments. Douglas County Engineering requested that language be added regarding requirements for the county approval process and provided corrections for measurements on a service plan exhibit. The application addressed both these comments, and engineering had no further comments. Pinery Water and Wastewater District requested that the applicant update the service plan language to reflect the policies and rules of which Pinery Water acquires new service areas since the project is currently in the process of becoming included in Pinery Water service area. The applicant submitted a revised service plan with language to address this comment. Pinery Water reviewed these revisions and had no further comments. The county also had financial consultants review the proposed service plan. Hilltop Securities reviewed the proposed service plan and commented that given the assumptions in the financial plan, it is reasonable that the districts will be capable of extinguishing all bonds within the parameters established in the service plan. BBC Research and Consulting has reviewed the submitted market study and commented that without justification to explain what distinguishes the proposed project, the pricing assumptions appear speculative rather than conservative or evidence-based. BBC concluded that while the price appreciation and absorption assumptions are well-grounded in recent trends and supported by observable data, the pricing projections require stronger rationale to be considered reliable inputs for financial planning. Staff's assessment of the proposed amendment as it relates to criteria has been detailed in the staff report. The Colorado Revised Statute specify criteria for the approval of special district service plans. The board must consider the following 9 criteria in evaluating the service plan. In response to number 1, the area encompassed by the district's boundaries is currently zoned plan development, and there is a projected need for the districts. Number 2, the existing public service infrastructure within the proposed district's boundary area are lacking. Therefore, existing services are inadequate for the projected needs of the service area. Number 3, based upon comments from the county's financial consultant, the service plan demonstrates that the districts can provide these services economically. In response to number 4, based on comments from the county's financial consultant, the service plan demonstrates that the district's revenues, as projected in the financial plan, would be sufficient to discharge the proposed indebtedness. Number 5, in addition to the county, the other municipality and special district entities providing services within the district's boundaries area are Pinery Water and Wastewater District and South Metro Fire Rescue. These entities are not able or unwilling to provide all the services desired within the reasonable time or on a comparable basis. Number 6, all facilities will be constructed in accordance with the standards of the county and any other applicable local, state, or federal rules and regulations. Number 7, the service area of the district falls within the Pinery Separated Urban Area of the CMP. Policies referenced during urban level development to designate urban areas and ensuring that the development occurs concurrently with essential services and infrastructure. Additional policies support preserving the integrity of the separated urban area. The proposed development and services of the district support these concepts. Goal 5-3 of the 2040 Comprehensive Master Plan promotes the sustainability of special districts, including ensuring that special districts are financially sound through the independent evaluation of all financial plans. The county works closely with third-party consultants to evaluate the financial feasibility of all new special districts and special district amendments. In response to number 8, based on information provided by the applicant, the districts are in compliance with Colorado Water Quality Management Plan. Number 9, based upon the level of services proposed for the area and lack of service provisions from existing service providers in the area, the district appears to be in the best interest of the area proposed to be served. Should the board find that the application complies with the criteria found at Colorado Revised Statute Title 32, the board may approve. This concludes my presentation. The applicant representative, Aaron Stutz, is also here to answer any additional questions and will give the applicant presentation.
Okay, thank you, DJ. Any questions for staff?
No questions.
Okay, none from me. We'll welcome up the applicant to make your presentation.
Thank you. Hi, Council. Aaron Stutz, WBA PC, on behalf of applicant. I also have a representative from the applicant here to discuss any questions about the development, and a representative from DA Davidson here to discuss any questions you have about the financial items.
Okay, great. Any questions for the applicant? Did you want to do a presentation?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we'll just do a quick slideshow here. The service plan is submitted pursuant to Title 32, as well as directions and discussions from county planning staff, and it is in substantial compliance with the county's service plan review procedures and the model service plan. As discussed, the planned development project area is 39.5 acres. It is expected to be fully residential and have 136 residential units. We're looking at a multi-district structure, just 2 districts. District number 1 is anticipated to be a construction and financing district, so it will manage the construction and financing of the public improvements. District number 2 is anticipated to be the operations and maintenance district that will own, operate, and maintain the improvements that are not otherwise dedicated or conveyed to another governmental entity. Public improvements, we've got roadway improvements, water improvements, sanitary sewer, stormwater and drainage improvements. The water, sanitary, and sewer, as well as stormwater and drainage will be, water and sanitary and sewer will be conveyed to the Pinery Water and Wastewater District. And then there will also be parks and recreation and landscaping improvements. Total cost of improvements is, we're looking at about $8.7 million. Any improvements not funded by the districts will remain the developer's responsibility. The county is not responsible for the cost of those improvements, any debt issued by the districts, or the developer's development costs. The financial plan shows that the total debt that the districts will issue or anticipated issue will be $11 million. That will be the cap. The districts anticipate issuing a 2027 series of bonds in the par amount of $7.7 million, as well as a refunding bond issuance in 2037 of about $9.6 million. Under the financial plan, as staff has already explained, the districts will have the tax base to support these issuances. Total mill levy max, we're looking at 70 mills, debt service of 60, and then a max operations mills of 10 while the debt service is being imposed. Debt parameters, maximum mill levy imposition term is 40 years, interest rate is 12, and the maximum underwriting discount is 5%. These parameters are all in line with the county's model service plan. Additional safeguards in the model service plan include the disclosure notice to purchasers, the developer reimbursement limitations, an annual report to the county, and then there are certain requirements in the service plan for material modifications and dissolution that require county approval. Okay, and with that, just a quick reminder of the benefit of metro districts. There's no other public entity that finds it desirable, feasible, or practical to fund these improvements, and so we're asking for the districts today. Through the financing of the districts, we'll have a reduced cost of the public improvements with a low-cost tax-exempt financing option. It's proportionate, so rather than front-loading the cost of public improvements on a new home sales, the cost can be paid through the mill levies for a term not to exceed 40 years. And that's all we have.
Great. Thank you for that presentation. Any questions for the applicant?
I have no questions.
Okay, I have none either. Let me open it up for any citizen comment. Is there any citizen comment in the room with regard to this item? Seeing none, I'm going to open it up for any citizen comment online.
Thank you, Commissioner. I have no online comments.
Okay, so with that, I'll close citizen comment and bring it back to the board for any further discussion or a motion.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chair. And no discussion from me. I simply move to approve the Pinery Meadows Metropolitan District numbers 1 and 2 new service plan because it does meet all of the approval criteria. This is file number SV 2025-003.
I remember when we did the zoning on this PD, and the adjacent property that we had just heard from in the same meeting. We had a whole room of angry people talking about that one. This one, everybody went home. They had nothing opposed to. So I'm happy to second.
Yeah, thank you for that. And yeah, I've reviewed the packet, and in my mind, this fits the approval criteria. I think it certainly makes sense, consistent with Title 32, and I will be in support. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that passes unanimously. With that, we're going to move on to item C, which is Ramblewood Plan Development Rezoning ZR 2024-031, and Trevor Bedford presenting for staff. And did you want to take this up with item D as well? Or did you want to separate those out?
I think we need to separate them out a little bit.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, do the zoning before the Metro District. You don't need one without the other, for sure.
You can present all of them at once, but.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Trevor Bedford representing Planning Services. The request before you is the Ramblewood Plan Development Rezoning, project number ZR 2024-031. Dan Sheldon of Miller United is here on behalf of the property owners, Hilltop Jam LLC, and Bradley and Joan Whittlesey. The Ramblewood Plan Development proposes 68 clustered single-family residential units, 2 agricultural lots, and approximately 14 acres of open space buffers over a total of about 177 acres. The intent of the process is to encourage innovative and creative design and to facilitate a mix of use in development of a balanced community, including residential, business, commercial, recreational, open, and other selected secondary uses, in accordance with Section 2467-101 of the Colorado Revised Statutes. A PD rezoning begins with the submittal of an application. Following a review period by referral agencies and the public, notice is given for public hearings before the Planning Commission and Board of County Commissioners. Referral agency comments were typical in nature, primarily citing requirements for future subdivision applications. Comments were received both in favor and against the project from nearby property owners. Comments in favor referenced public outreach by the applicant, open space buffers, and the agricultural lots. The comments against the project referenced impacts to adjacent Hidden Village neighborhood and potential conflicts with an agricultural operation to the northwest. All comments and referral agency responses are included in the staff report. The Planning Commission heard the proposal at a public hearing on August 4th, 2025, and unanimously recommended approval by a vote of 8-0. Members of the public spoke in favor of the proposal, citing compatibility with the area and the applicant's public outreach efforts. No members of the public spoke against the proposal at the hearing. The project is located on the south side of Hilltop Road, across from its intersection with Maryvale Trail. This is within the northeast subarea of the 2040 Douglas County Comprehensive Master Plan. This map shows the zoning in the area. The majority of the subject property is zoned Agricultural 1, with approximately 3.3 acre portion south of Alpine Drive in the southwest corner of the property, zoned rural residential. The project is generally surrounded by residential properties in the Hidden Village subdivision with an agricultural property to the northwest. This aerial depicts the site. And shown here is the proposed PD development plan. Primary access is proposed off of Hilltop Road across from its intersection with Maryvale Trail. Secondary access is proposed off of Alpine Drive to the south. Planning Area A, shown as PAA, is generally the north half of the property and is proposed to have 68 single-family dwellings over 77 acres. Planning Areas D and E, PAD and PAE, are open space planning areas. They are on the east and west side of Planning Area A to provide a buffer between the Hidden Village subdivision and the proposed clustered single-family residences. Planning Area B, PAB, is generally the south of the property and is an agricultural planning area with a maximum of 2 lots over 80 acres with a minimum lot size of 20 acres. The uses allowed would be generally the same as the Agricultural 1 zoning to preserve some of the agricultural characteristics in the area. Planning Area C, PAC, is located on the southwest corner across from Alpine Drive. This planning area is agricultural and will not allow any dwelling units. It is intended to be accessory to properties in Planning Area B. This is a photograph from Hilltop Road across from Maryvale Trail, facing generally southwest. This photo is from Alpine Drive, generally facing north. And this photo is from Alpine Drive, generally facing south. The approval standards for a PD rezoning are set forth in section 15 and listed in this slide. Approval standards are discussed in pages 6 through 9 of the staff report. Staff has evaluated the planned development rezoning request in accordance with section 15 of the zoning resolution. Should the board find that the approval standards have been met, staff proposes that the following conditions are included in the motion. Condition 1 was recommended to be included by the Planning Commission. However, the applicant has already met this requirement. The condition was that prior to the Board of County Commissioners hearing, the applicant shall submit a signed declaration of restrictive covenants in a form acceptable to Douglas County. And as of now, we have received that declaration. Condition number 2, prior to recordation, all minor technical corrections will be made to the plan development document to the satisfaction of Douglas County. Condition number 3, all statements and commitments made by the applicant or the applicant's representative during the public meeting or agreed to in writing and included in the public record have been relied upon by the Board of County Commissioners in approving the application. Therefore, such approval is conditioned upon the applicant's full satisfaction of all such commitments and promises. Section 1505.09 of the zoning resolution sets forth the parameters for the board's action of a PD rezoning request. This concludes staff's presentation. I'm available to take questions on the staff report at this time if the board wishes. Otherwise, Dan Sheldon is here to present the application.
Okay, thank you, Trevor. Any questions for staff?
Just to make sure I clarify, make sure I heard it right. What's the status of water wastewater service, in particular for the northern half, the PA, with the higher density development?
To my understanding, there's a will serve. We do have a will serve letter providing a commitment to serve central water and sewer services. I don't believe they've been included in the district yet. They will need to do that by the preliminary plan feature applications. And if there's any further update, the applicant can mention that.
But so we have a will serve letter
Correct.
from Parker Water?
Yes.
Okay. That's my question.
Okay, thanks. So only 2 conditions, right? One has been satisfied?
Correct. Yes.
Okay,
It would just
great.
be conditions 2 and 3.
Okay. So with that, I'll invite the applicant up for the presentation. Welcome.
If you get that, I will find your presentation.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. My name is Dan Sheldon, Miller United Real Estate, 6900 East Bellevue Avenue, Suite 300, Greenwood Village, Colorado 80111. I'd like to thank you for taking the time today. I know you've had a busy agenda. We'll try to scoot through this, but want to make sure that we hit on all the salient points. Also, thank you to staff for the time you've invested in this. Appreciate that very much. Also, knowing that we've got this in a subsequent metro district after this, some of the things we'll talk about during the PD application right now are germane to the Metro District application. So if you hear me mentioning public finance during the PD application, it's because we're next up going to be hearing about the district. With me today are my civil engineer, Kevin Lovelace from LJA. Hang on one sec.
Down button.
Down button. I was pushing the up button. My team consists of Kevin Lovelace with LJA, my civil engineer, Mark Kiefer and Sarah Tengen from Norris Design, my planning firm, Peter Wall, who's my community outreach consultant with Wall Kane Consultants, Stephen Simon and Mike Rocha from SM Rocha, my traffic engineers, Gina Burke with Gen Water Consultants, who's our water consultant, Paula Williams with McGeady Becker, who is our Metro District legal counsel. You'll be hearing from her in the next hearing. And then Shelby Noble from Piper Sandler, our underwriter. And lastly, David Foster with Foster, Graham, Milstein, and Kalisher, my land use legal counsel. Our team will be available to answer any questions that I cannot answer. So my company is a small Greenwood Village-based company. There's 10 of us. We're dedicated to serving and developing new communities up and down the Front Range. We've got a long history of developing new communities in Douglas County. We really enjoy doing business in Douglas County. We have found that our communities here are very successful, not only for our home builders, but for the community as a whole. I think they fit in real well. Couple of examples of our Douglas County projects. This is the Villages of Castle Pines. This is at Santa Fe and Happy Canyon. This is Tony's Meats down in this corner. We did this deal a few years ago, and it has now been built out. Our next project in the county, Commissioner Teal, I believe you live maybe in this part of the world. I think I was in front of you in Castle Rock, actually, when we brought this through. This is at Crystal Valley and Plum Creek, and it was 26 acres that we did about 110 townhomes, some retail, some little neighborhood retail that I think serving the community real well, and a fire station that we sold to the Castle Rock Fire District. I think it's Station 152, if I remember right. Next is our cityscape at Highline. This is just south County Line Road. That's McClellan Reservoir right up there. And it's between Santa Fe on the west and Kendra Castillo Way on the east. This is built out now. This one's in the town of Parker called the Overlook at Cherry Creek. It's roughly Main Street and Motzenbacher. There's 186 homes that have since been fully built out. This is Canyon Village. We brought this through the county about 3 or 4 years ago, and this is across the street from Rock Canyon High School. It's a little 50 home community in a little infill piece that we bought from the Catholic Church, the Pax Christi Diocese Catholic Church there. This one is our most recent project we brought through the county. This is called Westridge. It's located in Highlands Ranch. You probably recognize it because it's one of the Douglas County School District sites that they went out and disposed of. We were the purchaser of this project. We took it through entitlements in front of you. And this is currently under construction, and about half the houses have been sold. It's been a great little infill community. And while this one's not in your county, I wanted to bring it up to you because it is right next to Piney Lake Trails, which you just amended the service plans on right before this. It's at the corner of Delbert and County Line Road. So this is Elbert County, this is Douglas County, this is Aurora and Arapahoe County to the north. Big intergovernmental cooperation had to go into this project. Your staff, by the way, did a great job working with us on turn lane improvements, and we're building a signal. Well, we've funded a signal at that intersection of County Line and Delbert. So now we get into the site. The site is 177 acres. It's got two zonings. The main zoning is agricultural A1, and then this little piece right down there is rural residential. Our request is to rezone it from those two existing zonings to PD. And then if we get through that process with you all today, we would then go through preliminary and final CDs, accompanying CDs and whatnot. So our PD itself, as Trevor stated, we've got a handful of planning areas. Planning area A is the main residential portion where 68 of the 70 total lots being requested for this PD will be in planning area A. Planning areas D and E are the open space buffers butting up against Hidden Village with a little neighborhood park located kind of central in that planning area. And then planning area B will be 2 lots, as Trevor stated, with 1 dwelling unit per lot on those 2, what we're calling ranch lots. Those incidentally down here will not be served by Parker Water and Sand. These will be served on well and septic. Our max number of 70 lots on 177 acres equals 1 dwelling unit for every 2.5 acres, which is consistent with the Douglas County Comprehensive Master Plan, specifically in the northeast sub-area. One of the things you've heard me up here talking to you about over the last several years is our community outreach. We pride ourselves on really getting out in front of the community and doing it early and often. Our first meeting that we held with the community was before we ever even made our zoning application. We had about 40 neighbors attend. We developed a website that we keep live and updated with all of our calendared events, including our public hearings, our neighborhood meetings, anything else that we may be doing with the community or that they might want to use as a resource. We have it up on the website. We do put our recorded neighborhood meetings up there so that if somebody missed one, they can revert back to it and rewatch that meeting. We have links to some of the county's websites, such as the Hilltop Road Improvement link. That's linked on our website for the neighbors to be able to understand what's happening in the surrounding area. What we heard at that initial meeting from our residents was really 3 things. We heard that they want us to respect the natural character of the site. They were concerned about renewable water sources and the need for fire mitigation infrastructure. So regarding the natural character of the site, our plan is to use the existing dirt roads that run through the property now as our main roads. We're not going to go in there and blade in new roads. We're going to follow the contours of the existing dirt roads that the current landowners who have owned the property for decades have worked into the land. We're also going to be preserving as many trees and natural rock formations as possible on the property. We've created at least a 100-foot setback up here off a hilltop. That's about half, again, greater of a setback than what is currently in Tallman to the north of it. This is Tallman Gulch up here. So our setback will be greater than what's across the street from us. The reality is that our plan, if we get approved today, we will begin our preliminary plan, our beginning of our engineering and real site layout. And when we start that, our plan is to have the homes not only set back further than 100 feet, but also have them fronting Hilltop Road. So unlike what you see here, which is the back of a house up against Hilltop, our homes would be on a single loaded street where the fronts of the houses face the road. It's more expensive for us as a developer, but it's the right thing to do and something that we feel strongly about doing. That's what our current plan contemplates. We've committed to a minimum of 14 acres of open space along the 2 edges, and that's really in response to the community, the surrounding neighbors, saying that they did not want houses backing up to their houses. The houses in Hidden Village, some of them are right up against the property line. You can see one here, there's one here. Some of them are real close to the property line, and we wanted to make sure to give them a good buffer so that the very closest house we could do would be at least a football field away. And that wouldn't even include the backyard and whatnot of that new community that we're going to develop. And then in Planning Area B, we've touched on it, 2 lots, minimum building setbacks 100 feet from the edges, which is double what the current agricultural straight zoning requires today. And down in Planning Area C, on the other side of Alpine Drive down here, there would be no residential lots allowed, only agricultural uses. Regarding the water, the second piece that we heard from the community, our central and water for our 68 lots in Planning Area A will be coming from Parker Water and Sanitation District. We not only have a will serve with them, but we've met with them now a half a dozen times about exactly how we're going to connect our project to their water and sewer systems. The 2 ranch lots will continue to remain served with water and sewer and water and septic. The final bullet on here, I think, is probably the most important one. None of the water that we're going to use in Ramblewood comes from the same aquifer that all the Hidden Village residents rely on. They rely on the Upper Dawson aquifer. Our water's coming from much deeper aquifers, so we will not be competing or putting more straws in the ground, if you will, with our neighbors. Regarding fire mitigation, which was the third thing we heard, I think it's obviously an important thing that we're connecting to central water and sewer, but we're also going to be submitting a fire mitigation plan to the county, and we will have hydrants for our subdivision throughout the community. And finally, we are providing a hydrant and a vehicle turnaround that we don't need for our community. It's something that the residents asked us to consider doing. And for us, it's an easy give to that community. And what I'm really talking about is the community to the south of us and east and west of us. Right now, they're all on well and septic. They have no hydrants. So if there's a call for fire to come out there, they have to go find a water source to fill their trucks if they have to make multiple stops with their water truck. They'll be able to come into our new subdivision. We will have a dedicated turnaround where a big fire apparatus can make a U-turn, tap into a hydrant that we're purposely putting in just to serve the off-site residents, put water into their tanks, drive back down, and continue fighting that fire. So our outreach has ended with 4 neighborhood meetings so far to date, with more to come. We will continue meeting with them through our engineering, platting, final preliminary plan and final plat process. A year-end written update that we sent out to everyone, as well as our website, which is liveramblewood.com. We did get 2 letters of concern from neighbors. One of them was this fellow right here, and another one was a woman somewhere in here. But this map indicates the letters of support that are in your packet for our project. So we got 2 letters of concern and 11 letters of support. Finally, on the community outreach topic, we were required to send out 28 notices of our hearings, Planning Commission and BOCC hearings. We sent out letters to all 164 owners within Hidden Village. We felt, again, like it was the right thing to do. Some of the project benefits outside of providing just the homes themselves, we have made an agreement with your Public Works group on providing a financial contribution to the pavement of Alpine Drive. That's here in blue. That's a project that's going to be, I think it's supposed to start this year and happen this calendar year, where that dirt road will get paved. We're contributing to that. We will provide the residents another point of connection out to Hilltop. Right now, they have an access off of Village Road up here and one right here off of Alpine Drive. This will provide them yet another way to get in and out of their community by coming up through here on Alpine Drive and up through our site. We're installing that renewable central water within our district, within our area, and providing hydrants and a turnaround within the project. And then finally, we're putting in a public park. And that public park will not just be for our residents, it'll be open to all residents. I think you've got an idea of where it is, but there it is right there. I believe the district lines are right there on Hilltop Road, so I think Commissioner Teal, this one falls in your district, and it's right on the other side of the road, Chair Layden, from your district. The compliance of the comp plan, I'm not going to go through this out of respect for you and your timing, but if you would like me to, I can go through any and all of these that you would like me to. I feel like staff has done it and it's been in your packet, so I'm not sure you need to hear it again. We do have will-serve letters from all the fire, Parker Water and Sand, and school district. Timeline, here's where we are right now, end of summer, and hoping for approval today. We would then enter into our engineering, start our preliminary plan, and hopefully have that by early 2026. Then get into our final plat, and hopefully by this time next year or a little bit later next year, we would actually be under construction building the infrastructure. This is just a shot we took from Tallman Gulch. This is our site back here on the other side of the street. This is Hilltop Road running left to right on your screen. And this is what we envision it looking like once our subdivision is built. Just a rendering, nothing to hang your hat on, but we don't go to this kind of extent without some rhyme or reason as to what our project's going to really look like at the end of the day. We have somewhat recently, about 4 or 5 years ago, put in place a community investment initiative at Miller United Real Estate. And for every new project that we develop, we make a commitment to that community by finding a good, logical nonprofit that we can give back to, that it really becomes our way of giving back to the community, so that the displaced land, if you will, the land that's getting developed, we're somehow contributing back to that community. There's no way not for us to do our business. We're going to go do it somewhere. But if we're going to go and develop homes on currently vacant land, we try to give back to the community. And so we've done that now on a handful of our projects. And it's been a fun exercise for us to go do, and a rewarding one. On the right here is a picture of me giving a check a couple months ago to our one of our projects that we did. This is a secondhand store that provides for a place for people to go and get articles of clothing and other household items. And then on the right here is our commitment for this project. And for this project, we discussed a number of different groups that we would connect with on for Ramblewood, and we settled on, I don't want to say settled, it sounds like a bad term, but we're thrilled to have selected the Heroes Hall Foundation, and we met with their chairman and a few other folks from Heroes Hall, and have our commitment in writing now with them that if and when we're successful getting through this project, we will be making a financial contribution to Heroes Hall. And I'll leave you with the criteria, because I think that's what you have to vote on. Thank you.
Great. Well, Dan, thank you for that. I've seen you before this board for many, many years, and I have to applaud what I have really seen from you. I mean, it's tremendous leadership, growth, community engagement, a desire to give back. I think you've become very familiar with us, and I think what the county perspective is. So I think it's certainly well appreciated. Let me open it up to the board for any questions.
Yeah, that was a very good, comprehensive presentation. I have no questions.
Nor do I.
Okay, so, with no other additional questions, I'm going to open it up for any citizen comment. Is there any citizen comment in the room? Welcome, sir, and if you want to just state your name and where you're from for the record, please.
Good afternoon, Chair Layden and Commissioners. I'm Gus Burkhardt. I live in Douglas County. Actually, our property adjoins the Ramblewood PD. When I think about addressing this august body, a quote from Samuel Clemens comes to mind. "It is better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak up and remove all doubt." Nevertheless, I feel compelled to speak up on behalf of the Ramblewood PD for several reasons. One, we have been a part of similar processes in 4 states as well as overseas. And never have we dealt with a developer evidencing more care and concern for neighboring communities. Mr. Sheldon and his team have included the Hidden Village community all throughout this process with open, honest, and frequent emails, letters, HVPOA meetings, and town halls. There's even a website. 2, the Ramblewood PD mirrors the Pinery, Castle Pines North, and the Timbers in that both flora and fauna are protected with minimal impact. 3, our Hidden Village neighborhood will be enhanced by a PD that has extensive green belts as well as 2 large agricultural lots adjoining our properties. 4, since the Parker Water and Sanitation District is slated to be their water source, there's minimal competition with our own wells. 5, we truly appreciate Ramblewood providing an additional fire hydrant, especially for our Hidden Village community, should the need for fire suppression arise in the future. And so we look forward to your positive vote, and I thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Any additional citizen comment?
Good afternoon. I'm Camille Burkhardt, and I live here in Douglas County. I'm a neighbor of the Whittlesey property that Dan Sheldon and his team are buying for development. Our property in Hidden Village actually directly borders this property. I'm here to state that I earnestly endorse this plan for development for the following reasons. Miller United Real Estate is a local Colorado company that needs and cares about maintaining a good reputation and relationship for the long haul with its communities. They are not gone and out of state in a flash. Number 2, it shows in the conscientiousness and direct way they have already opened and pursued conscientious communications with us, their potential neighbors, through our HOA board contacts and directly with Hidden Village residents with interactive, detailed Zoom meetings, including Q&A. Important to us was their awareness and care about the environment, which is demonstrated in their plans to preserve as much of the forest as possible, to use existing trail roads where possible, and not to scrape the land radically, as some developers here have done. They intend to tap into Parker water and sewer system and not to set up numerous extra wells and septic systems across the property. They also have planned for generous buffer zones between our subdivision and theirs, while adding a trail system for their residents that will continue the rural environment like what we enjoy in Hidden Village. We are also pleased that 2 ranchette properties are provided for on the south end. 4th, the property values ascribed to their properties will maintain our property values and should not skyrocket our tax burdens either. 5, their plan importantly plans for a road to a fire hydrant with fire truck access directly available for our subdivision as well as theirs, which in today's fire-threatening environment is so critical for protection and insurance issues. 6, in addition, any financial help they can provide to help towards paving some of our roads is greatly appreciated, and I noticed they are looking at Alpine. All things considered, I can see this development as a win-win for both of our communities. Knowing this property will be developed at some point, I am extremely grateful that we have this company and their conscientious team to develop it with the plan that they are proposing. Thank you for the time. Respectfully submitted, Camille Burkhardt.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Any additional citizen comment?
Good afternoon. My name is Scott Stoddard. I am a Douglas County resident, not near this property, on the west side of the county, and really here to endorse the project. I really applaud the creativity of the layout, of the proposed layout, to really focus on sensitive areas, focus on the neighbors, reduce the impact on the current landscape, working on preserving views for not only the existing residents but future residents, and trying to maintain the natural appearance. Careful thought went into designing the open space, the buffers, lot locations, building setbacks, to really try to maintain the natural look. Well, I'm going to save us some time here. With the surrounding community in mind, it seems to be the best approach to develop this piece of land, knowing that at some point it will be developed. I appreciate the creativity that went into this proposal. That's it. Thank you.
Sir, thank you so much. Any additional citizen comment?
Afternoon, Commissioners. Thank you, Scott Goldhammer, Douglas County resident. I just broke the stylus here. Sorry about that. I've been following the Ramblewood zoning application since last fall and feel like the developer's proposal is a really good one. You're hearing the outreach to the community. You're hearing specifics as it relates to fire. You're hearing buffer zones between existing residents. You're hearing support coming from the people that live in those existing residents. And I think that, there are really 4 primary reasons I support this. One is Douglas County really does need more housing. 2, the very large ranch lots on the bottom side of this seem to make a lot of sense, especially when it comes to the agricultural portion of it, and not converting completely to residential housing. 3, we talked about the buffer zones. Landowners are going to be 300 feet away. The topography of this ground is very hilly. They're going to leave all the trees. It's going to be almost a non-impact to the people that are close by. And then finally, 4, as they leave that topography, there's deer, there's turkeys, there's wildlife all around there. The likelihood of that wildlife staying is probably very strong, especially since the minimally invasive infrastructure growth that will be in this particular property. So I've lived in Douglas County for the past 30 years. For these reasons, I support the Ramblewood project, and I encourage you to do the same. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, sir. Any additional citizen comment?
Hi, Commissioners. My name is Jim Whittlesey. I'm speaking on behalf of my parents, Joan and Brad Whittlesey, over here, who are the longtime property owners of the 160-acre portion of land on the future Ramblewood site. I'm a local civil engineer with over 20 years' experience on many different types of development projects. This career has given me a lot of valuable experience and a great background to support my parents and help them make decisions regarding the long-term future of this property. As you may know, my family's owned and enjoyed this beautiful property since the 1950s, and for many decades we've been discussing what the ultimate future holds for the site. We've been approached by many potential buyers over the years and have been extremely cautious to make sure the ultimate development of the site is compatible with our values, the neighborhood, and what we'd like to see this property become. It was essential to us that any development be done the right way. When Dan Sheldon and Miller United approached us, they presented us with a thorough and well-thought-out proposal for their development and included a number of considerations that we believe will be beneficial to all involved. The proposed development includes large setbacks and clustered lots, which insulates the existing neighbors from the new development. Ramblewood site access will be off Hilltop Road, which minimizes traffic on the surrounding roads. And most importantly, all proposed lots, except for our 2 retained lots, will be served by public infrastructure for water and sewer. We've spoken with the neighbors and understand their valid concerns regarding the possibility of numerous new water wells and the impact that would have to the water table. Additionally, Dan's proposal allowed us to retain 2 ranch lots totaling approximately 80 acres, so we can continue to utilize the property as we have for many years on a slightly smaller scale. As someone who has seen a wide variety of developments as an engineer, I can tell you this concept is really a success for everyone involved. We've waited many years for the right opportunity to develop this site, and this is it. I sincerely think this development is the best case scenario for the site, the neighbors, and I would strongly encourage the commissioners to vote in favor of the rezoning and also encourage votes in favor of the creation of the Metro District to provide the site with water and sewer. Finally, I wanted to let the commissioners know that we appreciate the Miller United outreach efforts to the community and neighbors, and we also appreciate the opportunity to voice our opinions to the commissioners. Our family looks forward to a bright future in Douglas County, which includes the Ramblewood development. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, sir. Any additional citizen comment? Any other citizen comment in the room? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to ask Troy or Christy, is there any citizen comment online?
Thank you, Commissioner. We do have Eric Kelmer, and he would like to comment.
Okay.
Mr. Kelmer, I am unmuting you.
Commissioners, my name is Eric Clemmer. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. I'm a recent graduate of the University of Colorado and a young professional in real estate, working with Liv Sotheby's on Guinevere Snyder's team out here in Douglas County. I wanted to express my support for the Ramblewood project because it addresses a critical need for more affordable housing and thoughtful growth in our community. Just as important, it helps open the door for a new generation of homebuyers who want to live and invest in Douglas County. The developers have also been very thoughtful of the community feedback and are going above and beyond to ensure Ramblewood becomes not just another development, but a beautiful place that reflects the values of this county. As someone early in my career, I see the firsthand how limited options are for young professionals and recent graduates who hope to put their roots down here. Ramblewood offers a responsible path forward and will keep a county vibrant, accessible, and welcoming for generations to come. Thank you for your consideration and your time.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Clemmer. Appreciate the citizen comment online. Any additional citizen comment online?
That would be it, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So with that, I'm going to close citizen comment. We're going to take a brief 5-minute recess and reconvene in a moment here. Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody. We're going to reconvene. Thank you for the brief recess. We have completed citizen comment both in person and online, bringing it back to the board for further discussion or a motion on this item. I did want to clarify, we heard some really great things from the applicant, appreciated the outreach to the community. I think you definitely have the commissioner's playbook somehow. You're speaking our language, which is fantastic. That said, I'll just speak as one commissioner. I certainly appreciated the commitment to Heroes Hall. But I want to be very clear with you. I don't know if you want to speak to this specifically at the podium, but obviously there's no quid pro quo associated with this application. It sounds as though you made a contribution to Heroes Hall, independent of any conversation or communication with the board. Is that correct?
Dan Sheldon, Miller United Real Estate. That is correct, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. And I just want to make a clean record for myself and certainly for my colleagues. We are limited to the legal approval standards, so any decision that we make today is solely constrained to this legal approval. We heard from a lot of citizens that obviously support and appreciate, as we do, the support of the community. I think that's icing on the cake, but certainly not part of our criteria today.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Bringing it back to the board for further discussion or a motion.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll just get us started with deliberations by introducing a motion and then request to speak in favor of it. I do have a motion to approve Ramblewood Plan Development rezoning because it does meet all of the approval criteria with the two remaining out of the three conditions as presented. Project file ZR 2024-031, and in the event of a second, wish to speak in favor of the motion.
I will accept a second, and thank you for that first, Commissioner Teal. Before we get into that, let me just confirm with the applicant that you're okay with the two conditions as presented.
Dan Sheldon, Miller United Real Estate. Yes, I am.
Okay, great, thanks. Commissioner Teal.
Well, just to speak to the disclaimer, yes, oh yeah, do you still need a second?
I did, and I second your motion.
Thank you, Commissioner.
All right. I do, and I do second your motion.
In that case, I'd like to speak in favor of the motion. The applicant did point out the fact that I think I saw him come before the Castle Rock Town Council 8 years ago, 7 years ago, and he's correct. I mean, that's a development that I literally watched get built to include the fire station that he was very diligent about working with the town on. I like the plan. I think it's a good plan. There could be a criticism here that could have started because I got to tell you, Dan, with your experience, somebody could have come out of the woodwork and said, hey, you're a one-trick pony. You know how to do urban infill. This is not necessarily urban infill, however. It is in a rural area, rural residential area, and yet I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it strikes a good balance. I think the applicant is being conscientious about the area. We have heard from neighboring landowners the engagement and the support. So it just seems like, once again, the applicant is proving that his prior experience in the county can be applied here, and so I speak in favor of the motion.
Thanks, Commissioner Teal. Commissioner Van Winkle.
I also found the presentation compelling. I did go inside and out, back and forth before the meeting through the packet. 68 lots on 77 acres, 2 more lots on a big almost 83 acres, and then several open spaces, a park. It seems to fit the community very well.
Thank you, Commissioner. And I don't think it's any surprise. Those that have seen me up here know that I'm not a huge fan of rezones. I don't like major PD amendments. I think that citizens oftentimes purchase property in reliance upon our zoning. That said, sometimes the adjacent character of neighborhoods demand it. And certainly the support that you have from the neighboring communities and certainly from the people in and around this area is significant. I went through the packet as well, and in my mind, really a great application you do create a wonderful product too, and I think that's worth saying that you have a really wonderful aesthetic in our community, and we enjoy that you're here. So I think that's a positive as well. But in terms of all of the 1503 01 et sequitur criteria, I believe the applicant has met all of these. Any additional discussion? Okay, well, we do have a first and second on the floor. All those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that passes unanimously. Congrats. We have one more on this, and it's item 3D, the Ramblewood Metropolitan District New Service Plan, Project File SV 2025-002. DJ Beckwith, once again. DJ. Bring us home, DJ.
All right, Commissioners, the project before you is a new service plan application for Ramblewood Metropolitan District. The project number is SV 2025-002. I'm BJ Beckwith, representing Planning Resources. The applicant representative is Paula Williams. The application is a request for approval of a service plan application for Ramblewood Metropolitan District. The proposed district would include the powers listed on the slide and detailed in the staff report. The Board of County Commissioners created and adopted guidelines for processing and reviewing special district plan applications in compliance with Title 32. Service plan applications are sent on referral, and staff works with the applicant to resolve identified issues. Applications are then reviewed by Planning Commission and Board of County Commissioners at public hearings. Due to lack of quorum, the scheduled Planning Commission meeting on July 21st, 2025 was canceled. The applicants have determined to have the request considered by the board as planned to meet election filing deadlines. You are now familiar where this project or zoning will be. The applicant has submitted an application to rezone for the property to planned development, as you've just heard. The property is anticipated to include 68 residential lots. The population of the district at build-out is expected to be 170 residents. The projected average home value is $1.4 million based on information in the service plan. District revenues are proposed to be primarily from property taxes and may also rely upon other revenue sources such as fees, rates, tolls, penalties, or charges. The estimated total mill levy cap is 65 mills. The proposed initial debt service mill levy is 50 mills, with initial operations and maintenance mill levy of 15 mills. The total authorized debt limit is $10,645,000. The estimated cost of the improvements is projected to be just over $9 million. The district anticipates receiving initial funding for both capital and ongoing administrative requirements from developer advances. Anticipated developer advances total just over the $9 million mark, with $1.1 million being anticipated not to be repaid by the district. The project was sent out on referral from May 15th to June 2nd. Most responses for referral had no comment on the proposed amendment. Douglas County Planning staff requested technical revisions to the service plan. These revisions included formatting and language changes. The applicant submitted a revised service plan to address those comments. Parker Water and Sanitation District commented that the service plan states that Parker Water will be the water and sanitary sewer service provider, but the project is not in Parker Water service area. Parker Water will not provide service until the district is included into the service area. The applicant added language to the service plan clarifying that the district is not within the current service area of Parker Water and that the district is applying for inclusion. No response from Parker Water has been received regarding these revisions at this time. The county also had financial consultants review the proposed service plan. Based on comments from Hilltop Securities Incorporated, an updated service plan with debt limit matching the anticipated amount of debt shown in the financial plan. The revised service plan also included language clarifying that there will be developer advances for public improvements that may not be repaid by the district in the amount of $1.1 million. Hilltop reviewed that update, had no further issues, and provided an updated memo to reflect the changes. With these revisions, Hilltop concluded that given the assumptions in the financial plan, it is reasonable that the district will be capable of extinguishing all bonds within the parameters established in the service plan. BBC Research and Consulting reviewed the applicant market study. BBC commented that the market study does not include a formal absorption analysis, yet realized that the district should have the ability to support the proposed debt structure. This comment was provided to the applicant. Staff's assessment of the proposed new service plan as it relates to the criteria has been detailed in the staff report. The Colorado Revised Statutes specify criteria for approval of special district service plans. The board must consider the following 9 criteria in evaluating the service plan. In response to number 1, based on the approval of the rezone application, there is a projected need for the district. In response to number 2, the existing public service infrastructure within the proposed district boundary area is lacking. Therefore, existing services are inadequate for the projected needs of the service area. Number 3, based upon the comments from the county's financial consultant, the service plan demonstrates that the district can provide these services economically. In response to number 4, based on comments from the county's financial consultant, the service plan demonstrates that the district's revenues projected in the financial plan would be sufficient to discharge the proposed indebtedness. In response to number 5, no other entity is able or willing to provide all the services desired within a reasonable time or on a comparable basis. Number 6, all facilities will be constructed in accordance with the standards of the county and any other applicable local, state, or federal rules and regulations. In response to number 7, the service area of the district falls within the non-urban area of the CMP. The CMP outlines goals for the northeast sub-area that ensure compatibility with the natural and rural characteristics of the area and utilize existing services where possible. The proposed development and services of the district support these concepts through the clustering of residential lots, establishing a density consistent with the adjacent developments, dedicating open space, and utilizing existing service providers like Parker Water and Sanitation District where possible. Goal 5-3 of the 2040 Comprehensive Master Plan promotes the sustainability of special districts, including ensuring the special districts are financially sound through the independent evaluation of all financial plans. The county works closely with third-party consultant to evaluate the financial feasibility of all new special districts and special district amendments. Number 8, based on information provided by the applicant, the district is in compliance with the Colorado Water Quality Management Plan. Number 9, based upon the level of services proposed for the area and lack of service provisions from existing service providers in the area, the district appears to be in the best interest of the area proposed to be served. Should the board find that the application complies with the criteria found in Colorado Revised Statute Title 32, the board may approve. This concludes my presentation. The applicant representative, Paula Williams, is also here to answer any additional questions and will give an application presentation.
Okay, thank you, DJ. Any questions for staff?
No question.
And I don't have any either. Would the applicant like to make their presentation?
Good evening. It's hard to be the last one. And Dan did such a phenomenal job that I'm going to try and go really quickly because I think you're already aware of the project and the development. And the Metro District is really just to support the project and the public financing needs for some of the infrastructure, such as connecting to central water and sewer services, and putting in paving and putting in landscape buffer zones that you've seen. So anyway, I'm Paula Williams. I'm with McGeady Becker, And we're here to ask you to approve a service plan for a metropolitan district. You already know what a metropolitan district is, so I'm not going to spend time on this. Metropolitan districts, I will note, are local governments, so we are subject to the same types of open meeting laws, transparency laws, election laws, budget laws. So it is a very transparent entity that will serve the project. The district is necessary primarily because of the public infrastructure needs. And as we've noted, the main purpose is to fund that public infrastructure, including central water and sewer service. The district boundaries are going to be coterminous with the 68 lots and the open space areas. The 2 ranch lots to the south, because they won't be receiving the same services, are not going to be included within the Metro District boundaries. Staff did a great job, thank you very much, going through what our proposed powers are. We've hit on the project benefits several times now, but they include paving of Alpine Drive, which provides additional access for neighbors, future street connections, the central water and sewer service, a public park. So there are many project benefits that will be accomplished through the Metropolitan District. Just quickly on our debt parameters, our debt cap is $10,645,000, and evidenced by the county's consultants, we can certainly repay that amount. I will note that bonds that are not repaid within 40 years are deemed forgiven. So, you know, it's the bondholders that take the risk on that. We have parameters in the service plan on interest rate, developer reimbursements, mill levy caps, and all of those come out of the county's model. We are consistent on our mill levies with neighboring communities. We have certain reporting requirements, so you'll know what we do. We'll have to file an annual report with you every year. We'll have to provide notice to buyers. One of the reasons that we're forming this is this district is intended to operate in lieu of an HOA so that we don't have 2 entities out there having to pay for things like legal, accounting, et cetera. And so the district will be operating and maintaining improvements that are not otherwise transferred to another governmental entity. There are certainly benefits of doing it this way. Property taxes are a much more secure revenue source than going through fee collections. Staff report did a great job of going through the various statutory criteria for approval and how those have been satisfied. So I'm going to skip all of those and happy to answer any questions. In addition, Shelby Noble with Piper Sandler is here if you have any questions regarding the financing plan.
Well, thank you so much for that, and we appreciate the abbreviated presentation since we've already heard quite a bit about this particular project, but certainly thorough enough. Let me open it up to the board. Any questions for the applicant?
No questions.
No question, appears very thoughtful.
Okay, I don't have any either. Let me open it up for any citizen comment. Is there any citizen comment in the room with regard to this item? Okay, seeing none, any citizen comment online?
Thank you, Commissioner. No citizen comment online.
Okay, so with that, I'll close citizen comment. I'll ask staff to bring up the approval criteria and the board can discuss. Any discussion and/or a motion?
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. It's good to double check all the approval criteria, but in light of it, I move to approve Ramblewood Metropolitan District new service plan because it does meet all of the approved criteria. This project file is SV 2025-002.
I think, I believe they've met every one of the approval criteria, but more specifically, I mean, I couldn't help but notice the mill levy rate is less than the max mill levy rate is less than the prior project we considered. Anytime we start getting around the 70 mark, it always makes me nervous, again, per my comments earlier with experience here in the Meadows here in Castle Rock. So, no, I think it's great. I'm going to second.
Great. So we have a first and second on the floor. Any further discussion? I would agree with my colleagues. I think all the approval criteria have been met, so I will be in favor. Any other discussion today? Seeing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that passes unanimously. So the next land use meeting public hearing will be held on Tuesday, September 9th, 2025 at 2:30 p.m. We are adjourned.